Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Christians and Cocktails with us here at the Sunshine Cathedral. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule just to pause for a few moments and join us tonight for some wonderful Q&A and discussions and all that kind of fun stuff. Um, I'm seeing a delay on my lips, so I guess I'm coming through okay. But anyway, just a couple of quick PSAs, and we'll move right into our talk show for tonight. Of course, Monday through Saturday, we invite you to join us for midday prayer. On Wednesdays, we invite you to join us for Share in the Chair at 6 p.m. And of course, on Sundays, we invite you to join us for worship at 9 and 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. is live stream on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, next week is actually begin Palm Sunday and Holy Week. We invite you to join us on Thursday at 7 p.m. for Monday, Thursday service. And that service will be online only, no in-room worship. It will just be strictly online, Facebook and YouTube. And then, of course, on Good Friday, we invite you to join us for in-room worship at 7 p.m. for our Good Friday evening service. And, of course, Easter Sunday is at 9 and 10:30. And, of course, you know the schedule for that. Meantime, we invite you to visit the Sunshine Cathedral website at sunshinecathedral.org for all the other information about stuff that we have going on. Become an Easter Leader donor, make a donation to the cathedral, lots of other stuff going on. It's all there for your perusal at any time you wish. And now let's begin with tonight by dropping over to our senior minister, the Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins.
All right, I'm Darrell. You just heard from Robert. He's the executive minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. We have with us Denito, that's Dennis and Tito, key volunteers, lay leaders at the Sunshine Cathedral. We got Sam Miller, technical goddess at the Sunshine Cathedral. We've got the Reverend Linda Pantoja, who's a minister at Sunshine Cathedral. She and Reverend Margarita are married and are in rotation lately for Christians and Cocktails. And we've got Cindy Lippert, minister, actor, model, bon vivant, and other good stuff, all here to do to chat. We've got a series of questions we've got lined up in queue, but we can always take more. So if you have a question you'd like to ask or follow up to anything that's being talked about tonight, or if you want to make a comment, just put it all there in the thread, and Tito will try to monitor that and interject your stuff into the conversation. If not, and if you get in late or if we don't catch it in time, we just throw it in the queue for next time. So it's never lost. It will happen either tonight or in the next week or two. So that's how it works. Where we just discuss what's on somebody's mind, however it got into the queue, and then you can join in. So tonight, let's have our first question. It just came in today. Some of these have been sitting there for a week or two, but this one is fresh. And we're going to go ahead and start with that, lead with that. Robert, ask us our first question.
All righty. Religious people often ask if faith prevents grief, that if we really believe in heaven, we wouldn't be sad when loved one passed. What do you say?
I think that's ridiculous. If Cindy is in New Mexico, and I know exactly where she is. I still miss her. I still would like to see her sometimes, or have a drink with her, or sit next to her at a conference and cut up, because that's what we do. Knowing where someone is doesn't. What does that mean? That does not mean that you don't miss someone. And I, for one, don't know where anybody is in the next life. Jesus said, in my parents' house, there are many rooms. I don't know what room you're in. I assume it's good. I assume it's pleasant, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't just dearly love to have a cup of coffee with a former loved one, or a cocktail, or watch an old movie. And so if I could watch some silly TV show with my grandmother again, I just think that would be heaven for me, I think. Although I assume wherever she is, she's continuing on a journey. So she may have evolved a lot wherever she is. So the grandma I remember who would like the shows that I remember her liking, she might not like them anymore. I mean, people grow and change, maybe even on the other side of the veil. I don't know. But in any case, we miss our loved ones. We miss our pets. We miss our friends. I have a friend right now that I haven't seen in well over a year, maybe a year and a half, and she's had some struggles. I miss her. I talk to her almost every day, but knowing where she is and knowing that I can, talk to her, doesn't mean that I wouldn't love to have another hug, right about now. So it's just silly to me that when people say, oh, I don't grieve because I know where they are. Um, okay, are you a monster? I mean, do you have human feelings? I think people are trying to convince maybe themselves, maybe the people, that they are somehow so spiritually evolved that they just don't have feelings like sadness or grief. But I think all human emotions have their place. Now, if you get stuck in it, if you can't move on eventually, well, thank God there's professional help. But to miss a loved one, that that's actually that's an expression of love. And I think it honors our loved ones that we think of them fondly and miss them. So I just disagree with that. I just disagree that if they're probably reincarnated to a better life, or they're in heaven, or they're in paradise, or okay, and what does that have to do with my missing them? You know what I mean? So I just think that is a kind of piety that is meant to either protect us from our own real human emotions, which are part of us, or they're meant to convince ourselves or others that we know more than we can know, that we are stronger than we need to be. I don't know. It seems like some sort of a smokescreen to me, and I don't think it's necessary. I laugh out loud when I am deliriously happy, and I give an ugly cry when I am seriously sad. And I just think that's all just part of being me. And I don't regret any of that. In fact, I get angry. I've told Cindy this before. I get angry when people try to take my grief from me. I need to miss. If someone is gone, I need to miss them for a while. I need to acknowledge that there's something missing from my life, and it may be missing the relationship we had. It may be missing the relationship we never had. Sometimes you'll have a parent or a sibling or something, and they'll go, and it hurts. It's a special kind of grief, a special kind of hurt, because you realize now there's no more chances to fix it. You know what I mean? And so that's a different kind of grief. And I just think those feelings are valuable. I think they're part of our healing. And when people try to say, oh, they're in a better place, or, okay, well, I'm glad that's helping you somehow. Meanwhile, I need to go through what I'm going through. And I need friends who'll support me while I'm doing that, not trying to talk me out of my human experience. So maybe that wasn't the religious answer somebody was looking for, but I think our feelings there are feelings. And I don't know that we are doing ourselves any kind of psychological or spiritual benefit by denying that we have human emotions. I'm not for that at all. I laugh when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I swear when I'm angry. I'm a whole person. and I think that religion's job is to help us experience and express our wholeness. I think we're meant to be whole people. And so if you don't cry, Jesus wept, for heaven's sakes. If you can't experience all of your humanity, religion has failed you. It has not helped you enter into your wholeness. Enough of my soapbox. Cindy Lippert, what do you think?
Well, I think when we try to get away from the idea of grief, it's a form of denial, for one. We saw grief in our cats. We always had multiple cats at the same time. When one would pass, the other one left would obviously grieve. It was very obvious what was going on. So
Sure.
I think it's very, very natural. To judge somebody's grief, I think, is a form of abuse. That's my personal opinion. Snap out of it. In the United States, we expect you to, get over it over the weekend and be back to work on Monday. And in other cities and countries around the globe, a person is expected to grieve as long as it takes. And in fact, very often they will wear particular garb or colors to indicate that they are in a grieving period. We grieve over the loss of a job. We grieve over identity as we knew it. When people get older and lose different abilities, it's a grieving type of thing. But I think I agree with you. It's a natural human emotion. We do grieve. We don't know where they went. Maybe it's not a better place. We tell ourselves that it's a better place. Maybe it isn't. Maybe this is as good as it gets. But yeah, we don't know. But we like to believe that there's something more beyond this, but we don't know. So the only thing that we're really left with is that interaction, that direct contact, whether it's over the phone or by text or Zoom or whatever. We don't have that anymore. Maybe we're still in contact intuitively or spiritually, but it's a passage and it's something different. But the last thing I would ever do is be cruel to somebody during a grieving period.
And grieving is a process. It's part of how we heal from our losses. And so the months or year or 2 years or whatever that it takes us to move through that, the memories that are bringing us pain sort of soften into, they eventually bring us joy. And we love telling the stories then and remembering and laughing and all of that. So the grief softens into something great, but only if you have it, only if you experience it. I don't know that I don't know that you get to the joyful part if you skip. I think that's one of the lessons of Lent, is that we have this journey that leads to Easter, this journey that leads us all the way to Golgotha, which is horrifying, but Golgotha doesn't get the last word. You don't get to skip Golgotha. Golgotha just doesn't win. So I think in our own lives, yeah, we're gonna have our Golgothas. And then 3 days later, which might look like 2 years or 8 months or whatever, there's this renewal, there's this resurrection, there's life breaks forth and joy breaks forth, and you get to have a new experience. But you don't get to skip Golgotha. The only way you get Easter is by Golgotha. Robert and I were at a family funeral years ago, 10, 12 years ago now, and to a person, it was a big family, and to a person, and there was a beloved matriarch who had died. And to a person, every single person was like, I don't grieve. I'm not grieving. I'm happy because she's in a better place. And, I don't grieve for me. And I said to him at some point, that's terrible. I feel so bad for the departed that people are like insisting that they're not sad that she died. And he just said, oh, that's just Baptist. He was just like, that's just a Baptist thing. But Robert, you've officiated and attended and been part of countless funerals over the years. You've lost both of your parents, your grandparents, a partner many years ago. You're no stranger to grief. What do you say to this person who thinks that maybe religion can help you not experience this very natural human emotion response to loss?
I think grieving is probably pretty much like the basic things that we need to survive. We need to grieve in order to survive, because if we don't grieve, a therapist several years ago said, the lack of grieving can manifest itself in other ways, and all those ways are not necessarily healthy. So I think to grieve is just a natural process, and dealing with anything, with humans or our pets or even someone moving away. If there's a bond there, then we have to grieve that to a degree in order to be able to accept it and begin to heal and move on. If not, I think we just kind of set ourselves up for a different trajectory that can, we end up wearing a black veil longer than we really maybe want to. So, but grieving is healthy, and we all grieve in very different ways. But I think it's a healthy process of life.
It shows love for the departed, and it's how we heal from the loss. I remember, I think it was Star Trek V, where Spock's long lost half brother or whatever comes on the scene, and he's got some weird therapeutic technique where he can just take all your pain away. And he does that to manipulate people, though. Once he takes their pain away, they become these mindless, grinning idiots. They do, and then because they're thankful to him for taking their pain away, they'll do whatever he says. So he's like building an army and going on this sort of fool's errand, this chaotic quest or whatever. And when he's ready to do that, when he tries to do that with Captain Kirk or Admiral Kirk or whatever rank he was at that movie, Kirk refuses. He says, "No, I need my pain. It's part of my memories. It's part of what made me strong. It's part of what made me who I am." So he's like, "No, you can't have it. I need my pain." It was part of his wholeness. It was part of his. It was part of how he had joy in his life, was by being a whole person. I'm sure lots of religions. When this person says religion, I think they probably mean some version of Western Christianity or whatever, because I think there are other religions in the world that do maybe a better job of warning us that death is actually part of life, and it's something you can prepare for, and grieving your losses are actually part of showing love and continuing the cycle of life, whatever. We do have an interfaith expert with us, Linda Pantoja. What have you got to say about all this grieving business?
Yes, well, I think if I heard the question correctly, the person is saying that clergy that they've been around with have said that if they believed in heaven, they wouldn't have to grieve. So it looks like there's a Christianity background in there, right?
Right.
And I mean, it's sad to hear that. It doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. I mean, you just gave an example, Darrell, with a funeral that you attended. However, I mean, you've all summarized it very well. It's grief is part of life, right? It's part of the cycle of life. And I have not heard of any religion that would penalize or criticize anyone that is grieving, by no means. And going back to Christianity, I mean, Jesus wept when he knew that he found out that Lazarus had died, right?
Yes.
So, if we're going to speak within the Christianity context about clergy, who more divine than Jesus, right? So I think it's what clergy should do, and let's not say should, is not just allow the grieving, but also provide hope, right? The message of hope and faith, and this too shall pass, and all will be well. But live the moment and be in the present, and that means grieve the way that you grieve, right?
Yeah, and when Jesus hears that Lazarus has passed, and the scripture says shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. The onlookers, including his critics, their first response was, "Oh, look how much he loved him." Like they were actually moved that he even still had love for Lazarus and was expressing it openly, publicly. Even his critics had to like feel compassion for Jesus in that moment. Well, grief is not something that only professionals deal with. Everyone on this panel has had a loss. Danito and or Sam, do you have a personal, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have a personal experience or observation that you want to share before we move on to the next topic?
I actually had something that it's not on the grief subject, but I kind of drew a parallel in that it seems like in this person's view, religion is something that keeps them from experiencing an emotion that's very human. And grief is not the only emotion that certain religious groups are encouraged to ignore about their human experience. And so it was interesting to me that grief was something that came up, because that is something that's very, like a huge part of our lives, can be very transformational, can be very, just, something big. And then love, falling in love or being in a relationship or getting married or those types of things. Also for some people, things that are, encouraged to not do or ignore or just turn, not do that. That kind of came to my mind.
Yeah, I think religion, when it's used to keep us from experiencing our humanity, is being misunderstood or misapplied. The whole thing that puts Jesus on a pedestal for us is that he lived so fully into his humanity that he expressed divinity. He was so human that he seemed divine, or he was so human that he got in touch with his humanity, with his divinity. So yeah, if we're trying to skip part of our humanity, that's not the Jesus model. The model is to live so fully into your humanity that people see God in you. So that's Danito, what you got with this?
So I was gonna say, I think I don't know what religion this person's talking about exactly, but I think it also could be some form of control, trying to control people. That's the only thing I can think of. And I think you said it earlier, like when they tell you, oh, it's okay, they're in heaven, or oh, it's okay, they're with God. Yeah, like that's supposed to make you feel better when you just lost
Right.
somebody.
Exactly.
My own personal grief, I think the most recent person that I lost, I obviously everybody goes through a different grieving process, but I happened to get stuck in guilt. I was feeling guilty for a lot of things that I thought I could have done, or I should have done better, or or I should have taken them to the hospital, sooner, or whatnot. I mean, all these different ideas of guilt that were going in my head, to the point where I actually did have to seek help to get through that, to be able to finish my process of grief and finally move on. So everyone grieves differently. Some people can get over it in just a couple of weeks or months or whatever. I mean, they never stop obviously missing or loving that person, but the actual feeling of that grief, I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah. I said to, and I didn't expect this to happen. And if you didn't know me all these decades, you might not be aware that it's happening even now. But as I get older, I really am so much more mellow about things. Now, my 54-year-old mellow is super mellow compared to 34 me. My 54-year-old mellow to a lot of people might seem pretty edgy yet, but things, I can let things go that I would used to think it was very important that I get up in the middle of or whatever. But recently, someone was on their social media platform talking about a loss. I mean, it happens every day, actually. People, I think that's a good thing about social media, is that people can reach out to their extended support networks and just share, and they don't have to tell it 50 times. They can just say it, and then people see it. Someone did that, lost a friend and was just, saying it, and a religious type. And of course, most people were very sweet, very kind. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Oh, I'm praying for you, or I'm here for you, or, whatever, just kind words like you do. But one person was like, oh, I can't, if I believe what I teach as a religious person, then I can't be sad. I can't be. And I toned it way down from what I would have 20 years ago, but I did respond. I did, like, you know what? Grief is a thing. Grief is an expression of love, and you get to love and express your love how you do. But I did, and I think this person thought they were doing a good thing, but it struck me as being almost cruel, certainly unkind, to to say I clearly have stronger faith in you because I wouldn't be sad. Well, okay, when your friend dies, you don't be sad. Good for you. None of this was about you. And so I just think that kind of stuff can be, it's misdirected. It's about something other than letting people have their journey, and certainly something other than comforting. Tito actually said something about control, and it is control a lot of times. Not just trying to control what people do or how they act or whatever, but I can't. Like, if you just spin out and are all raw with your emotions, how am I supposed to feel in control of mine? So if I can sort of quiet you down, maybe that can make me feel a little more in control of my own business, as if, we need to control everything all the time. But yeah, if I can just sort of put a lid on you, then I can pretend I am in control of everything in my world, and nobody's in control of anything. No, sorry. No, we can direct things, we can influence things, we can recover from things, we can respond to things, but nobody is in control of anything.
I just wanted to add one thing. I had several years ago an opportunity to help an actor friend that had just lost his father. And I said, were you close to your dad? And he said, no, I don't understand why I'm grieving so hard. And I said, well, little known fact, sometimes the tougher the human relationship, the harder the grief. And he was so relieved to hear this. I said, because whatever the relationship was, that's all it's ever going to be. It's done. Now, a lot of people would argue that, you're still in contact with grandma or grandpa or your dad or whoever, but in the human form, in this form, you can't continue to work things out like you might have hoped that you could. So a lot of people don't know that the grieving can actually be harder when the relationship was tougher.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right. We may have. I don't know. We probably spent just the right amount of time on that topic. Probably the perfect amount of time on that topic. So let's move to another one. Reverend Linda, what's our next thing we're gonna kick around?
Okay, this one says, we say God bless you, but what does that really mean?
I think it means you sneezed, and that's just our Gesundheit. God bless you. It is pro forma, it is perfunctory in our culture quite a bit, but also sometimes I think people 100% mean it. To bless or to be blessed is to be happy, basically. And so if I say God bless you, or heaven bless you, or saints bless you, or whatever, if I'm wishing you a blessing, what I'm saying is I want you to be happy. And that covers almost everything. I mean, it's hard to be happy if they're kicking you out of your house. It's hard to be happy if you can't feed your kids. It's hard to be happy if you're in constant, physical agony. So to wish you happiness, I'm also wishing you, comfort where it's needed, and strength where it's needed, and wisdom where it's needed, and abundance where it's needed. So it's kind of a big umbrella. I'm wishing you happiness, and everything that's required, for you to be happy, or certainly for you not to have things that could sabotage your happiness. So I think it's a general, just good wish for people to be happy. And then of course, if we mean something more, if I'm praying, if you're sick and I'm praying for God to bless you, I'm probably really praying for God to comfort you, or strengthen you, or heal you, or something, comfort you. So bless probably means whatever we want it to mean, but just in general, blessing is about happiness. It's about being happy. So we're just, God bless you means I wish you happiness. And even if we aren't conscious of it, even if it's just sort of perfunctory, it's still a nice gesture. It's, what I mean? Like, no one's going to be roughed up. No one's, their life isn't going to be worse because you said God bless them. So just like most words, it can mean a lot of things. Depends on what kind of meaning we put into it. But even at its most, superficial, it's a nice gesture. And I just don't think that you can have too much nice in the world.
I would add, in Puerto Rico, for instance, you say God bless you, or Dios te bendiga. Every time you see a family member, like you would say, when you get to your grandparents' house, or your uncle's or aunt's house, or even with your parents, you would meet them and say, first thing you would say is, blessings, please, like, bless me, please. And they'll reply, God bless you, or Dios te bendiga. And it's about not just happiness and health, but also like God be with you, God protect you, God grant you all the blessings that you need, right? So it was a gesture of even respect to ask for that blessing, right? You would get your ears pulled if you didn't say, bless me to your grandparents, right? You have to do that. It's part of the greeting and the goodbyes. So to your point, it depends. It can have many meanings, but that's something that I truly enjoy when I speak to my family in Puerto Rico, is asking for that blessing and listening to them say it.
I would be remiss if I did not say that this bless you is also regional. As a Southerner from Alabama, some of these bless you sometimes. I'll leave that bless you at that.
Bless them. That can be pity. Well, bless them can be scorn. And bless their socks or bless their bones means, aren't they ridiculous? I mean, so yeah, there's there are regional twists to it. Our foster son, Mario, is from Brazil. And when he came to the US, he said, what did I say? I guess he sneezed and I said, bless you, or whatever. And he said, what am I supposed to say back? So you don't have to say anything, just, cover your mouth. I don't know. You don't have to say anything. I said, why? Why did you, why did we ask? Because apparently where he's from, if someone says, bless you, you respond with amen. So you actually, which is like, so it is, or let it be so. Or, so it's like a receive. It's accepting the blessing. It's not only someone giving it, but you receive it actively, intentionally. Bless you, amen. And I thought we should start that here. That's great. I love that.
Yes, sounds good.
Yeah. So if I ever say bless you, unless I'm being Southern snarky, you can say amen. Just claim it. Just own that blessing. All right,
Yes.
Dennis, what have you got?
Well, I'm going to read the question here, and then there's a follow-up question that I'm going to do. It's from the chat. Tito pointed it out to me.
Is the follow-up about something we've already talked about?
No.
Okay.
But it kind of goes along with the question that I have. And
okay. So you're right. Yeah.
It's going to be a both and. So the question that I have is, why do you think people are leaving religion in such large numbers? But then the question in the chat, and again, maybe it's a little opposite of that. Yeah. But because of COVID and our church having limited reservations, is it just me, or are there other people who out there who feel a little depressed and sad they can't attend in person? There's such a feeling of family at the church that they miss. So it's kind of a opposites. Why are so many people leaving, yet some people can't get a reservation at Sunshine Cathedral? So
people are, let's do the first one. Let's take them separately. People leave for a lot of reasons. I mean, people leave because they find religion boring, or they find it irrelevant, or they find it insulting. I know scientists who have left religion because they felt like religion didn't respect their path of investigation and knowledge. I certainly know gay people and transgender people who have left the church because it just wasn't safe for them to be there, or they didn't feel safe, or certainly didn't feel welcome. I've actually heard just horror stories and great damage done by people saying that they were called out in sermons, or prayer warriors descending on them trying to pray the evil of their sexuality out, or just these horrific abusive demonstrations. And so people leave because or if I'm a woman and I'm being told I can't make my own procreative choices, or if I'm a woman, I'm being told that I will never be a priest in this church. Now, maybe I don't want to be, but that no one like me can be. I mean, these are all things. I mean, if you're not welcome, if you're not respected, if you're not valued, I think religion is is a rare. Religion and family are like the only two institutions I think in the world where they expect we will treat you badly and wonder why you didn't show back up. Because you were mean to me and I did not enjoy that at all, and I'm just not going to have it anymore. That's why. It's not a big mystery. We don't have to hire a detective for this. I think when people feel welcome, when they feel if it's adding value to your life, you can't keep them away. Whether that's the movies, or whether that's the park, or whether that's the mall, or whether that's religion. If it's adding value to your life, you can't keep them away. And so now why is this church packed and this one isn't? Well, those are different issues. I mean, some things are always going to be big and some things are always going to be small. If I live in a county that has 1,000 people and there's 16 churches in the county, well, they're all going to be pretty small, aren't they? Or one's going to be pretty big and the rest are going to be super tiny. That's just demographics and geography, and it is what it is. But if people are staying home, they're not even looking for any place to be on a Friday night or a Saturday morning or Sunday morning. They've probably just not had an experience that added enough value to their life to make them think they wanted more of that. I just think it's probably that simple. And I'm almost sugarcoating a little bit. Some people, not just that they didn't find value, but that they actually found harm. And for their own safety, they're just like, none of that. And I'm not subjecting my kids to it either. So there's that. I mean, I really do think there's that. Now, what about pandemic? Well, pandemic, again, it is what it is. We have been at the Sunshine Cathedral and criticized for it, more open than a lot of places. Some places have not had worship in a year in person. They've only done online. And we're lucky and blessed and fortunate to have a production company do our stuff, so that when you are watching it, you are getting a beautiful professional experience. A lot of people have been recording on their cell phone or on their iPad. So you get a singer, you get somebody preaching from their desk in their study, you get something, and it has value, and people being faithful to offer it. But it is not an experience like going to a worship service, whereas ours is exactly, you're not holding someone's hand, but if you were in the room, you wouldn't be holding their hand either, because of the pandemic rules. So we're very fortunate in that we can, other than smelling someone's hairspray, or having to find a parking place, you really are having as identical an experience as can be duplicated in our production. It's from the beginning to the end, every song, every prayer, every word. You even can take communion at home. Some churches, their theology will not allow that. We say there's not a spot where God is not. So if God is at our table in the room, God's at your table in your room. So get the bread, get the juice, get the wine, get the water, whatever you got, and we'll do this together. So pandemic is a moment in time. It's a 1.5 to 2 years that we've all had to go through. And Sunshine Cathedral has been a lot luckier than a lot of communities in that we can bring it to you in a quality package right where you are, keeping you safe. And with masks and reservations, you can also be in the room. You can't sit right next to anyone who didn't come with you. You have to wear your mask. We're not holding hands or shaking hands or hugging. Those are all, but we're sharing those burdens. It's not like we're secretly, some of us going off in the corner and hugging each other and smooching and no, we're all sharing the burden for pandemic, just to keep people safe. And that burden will come to an end. I think, well, I've always said by New Year's, by January, I'm now thinking maybe July, August, September. I mean, we're seeing, there's light at the end of this tunnel, and we're all going to be together again. And we've never yet, we allow so many people in the room for each service, and we've never yet had both services fill up. You know what I mean? I think we allow about 100 or 100 something per service. And I don't think, and one service has filled up a few times, but not the other. So if you'll be flexible with your schedule, I promise you can probably still get a seat. And after Easter, or maybe starting with Easter, very soon, I'm talking a couple of weeks here, 2 to 4 weeks here, we're even going to increase the amount. And then a few months later, increase the amount again. And then shortly after that, hopefully be able to open wide up. So people, if you want in, and if you're willing to make a reservation and wear a mask, we can get you in. You might have to go at 9 instead of 10:30 or 10:30 instead of 9. But I'm not aware of anyone having been turned away. There have been several people told to pull their mask up, but I'm not aware of anyone being turned away at the Sunshine Cathedral, which again makes us a lot luckier than a lot of places. And there's light at the end of this tunnel. I mean, I'm seeing it. We've always known it was going to be there, but I'm actually seeing it now. I fully expect a traditional in the room, shoulder to shoulder experience at Christmas Eve. And hopefully we don't have to wait even quite that long. Pray with me for that. So I'm sorry if anyone is feeling inconvenienced, but the truth of the matter is we are all inconvenienced. It's to save lives. And because we've been faithful with it and creative with it, it will come to an end soon. And thank God.
Darrell, I'll just add to that. I think, people who are looking to get into houses of worship that are doing in-person worship services like the Sunshine Cathedral, I prefer to look at it. We're telling you how you can worship versus telling you how you can't worship. Yeah. It's just like shopping at the grocery stores when we were at the height of the pandemic. The grocery stores are telling you how you can shop. They wouldn't tell you that you couldn't shop, but this is how you get to shop at the local grocery store or get to go to these places. And I think that's how houses of worship are. That's just my approach to it. We're just saying this is how we can do it, and we want to continue to do it. And we'll be faithful to the protocols until such time we don't need them or they're less than what they are now. So it's just about how you look at it. And I know it's probably really is depressing for people who just want the free will to walk into there and just do it, without making reservations. But until such time, we're just saying this is how you get to do it at Sunshine Cathedral, and just bear with, the conditions of the pandemic for a few more months, and hopefully we'll all be in a much better place.
I am not by nature super huggy, not super demonstrative, and I think I have mentioned hugging 6 times in this show tonight. We miss it. Even people like me miss it. And in my pod, I'm hugging my pod people more than I probably ever hugged them before pandemic. And so, no, it's rough on all of us, and we're getting through it. We are getting through it. Sam, you as a theater person, this is a similar experience in the theatrical world. What insights have you got about? And you're part of making our thing happen, so you've got a double view.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that like this and grief came up, because one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people in theater have been, grieving our entire profession. I think like the last concert I saw, I did not expect to be my last piece of live event that I would actually see. But yeah, and I've started to see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel there too. People starting to start up bookings again and kind of get ready for things, and starting to get into planning. When we talk about next season, we're kind of for us, my theater, we're kind of anticipating being able to be back by then. And that's something really exciting. And at the same time, it's kind of hard. It's hard because we do see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we are still kind of in that like, oh, well, now we can't really fully open up yet. Where like the shows that we're planning to do now on Zoom, we're like, can we just do them in this space? But so it's almost hard when you do know that it's gonna get better, being patient about that.
Right. Cindy Lippert, you're a film actor, and for a while you couldn't even get on a set, right? And now that's slowly changing. What is that experience?
Well, that's exactly right. We were auditioning by self-tape, it's called, and you submit rather than going in person to audition. You create a videotape and that's submitted, and the casting director then looks at it after it's been uploaded. Getting on set is interesting. Just recently I was on set. I'll be on set again in April, but it's a number of COVID tests, 2 taken in a 24-hour period, within 3 days of being on set. And then there is a SAG union person that's counting heads all the time, how many are in the room, and will periodically announce, we have 10 too many people in this room, please vacate now if you're not part of the group A or whatever. But we have somebody else that is responsible for the mass with our name on it, in a bag with our name on it. And in between takes, we have to put the mask back on. And then, so it's added a tremendous financial burden to do anything, to produce anything right now. The big budget projects are one thing. The small independent films are having a tough time because it would take them from being in one category to another whole category. And I think I just, hold on, there we go.
You're good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Anyway, it would take them to a whole new classification, which means they would have to pay everybody at a different rate. So SAG has come out with, I think it was 37 pages of protocols just to get us back on set.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So.
Dennis, you manage properties where seniors live. Have you noticed people wanting to be together more than they should, or depressed because they can't get out? I mean, what have you noticed in that environment?
Absolutely. So yeah, I manage multiple senior facilities, senior buildings, and we've gone to the extent of removing all the furniture in the common areas, locking down all of the community rooms, all the activity rooms, the libraries. These are places that people can congregate, and COVID spreader right there.
Right. So you got to be careful.
It's tough, and we're, again, yes, we are this close. I even have them coming to me. Oh, but we now, we had vaccination clinics at our site. We've been vaccinated. Can't we get together? And it's like, no, not yet. So, please hang on.
Just hold on.
And I want to say too, I want to validate what this person is saying is that, yes, it can be depressing, and it is depressing.
It is.
And we all feel what you feel, and not being able to make that in-person contact. Sometimes I can watch it. If I'm not at Sunshine Cathedral, you better bet I'm watching it. It's not quite the same as you get that feeling of being in the room, and I get that. I get that. But I'm going to ask Robert, is there a standby list? Is there a way that if they showed up and they said, hey, can I be on standby, understanding that they may not get in the room, but if there's a seat that's open, they might be able to get that? Is there a list if they come by?
Well, what I can say right now, and just knowing Easter is what Easter is. The 10:30 service is already completely booked. There are still several seats available at the 9 a.m. service. And what we generally tell people is kind of like the theater, we need you in your seats, or at least checked in 10 minutes before service starts. If not, then your seat will be released. So that's kind of what we've been operating against. And we have a good team of people that will greet you at the front doors, and they would do everything possible to get you in. But we just holler, reservations make it much easier to be more accommodating. And like Darrell said earlier, we have increased the seating beginning with Easter. And we'll just continue to increase more and more. And I know that I think the CDC centers now said, you can gather in groups of 10 without a mask if you know people, but they've not released any guidelines for large room gatherings yet. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we're stuck right now. And so until CDC and or the county change protocols, we're just kind of left with what we are for large room gatherings. But I would just highly encourage you, we do try and get the schedule up at least by the second Sunday of the month for 2 months in advance. So when it does go up, I just highly encourage you to, until this is over, to make those reservations as quickly as possible. Because once it's kind of booked, there really is no wiggle room because we're at Mike's.
Yeah. In the meantime, we have a few more months. I really hope and believe that this is the last year. And for a terrible pandemic to last 2 years, that's not, that's it could be worse. So that we're going to see some a change here pretty soon. Just hold on, keep hoping, wash your hands like a surgeon, wear your mask, make those reservations. Which is not only providing distance, but it also provides tracking if we need it. If anything were to break out, we can let you know then. Get tested, see your doctor. There's been this issue. Luckily, we've not had an issue, but we could respond quickly because that's part of what the reservations is about, is to be able to track and respond if there were ever an issue. So just keep making the reservations. If you don't feel comfortable going out, watch us online, watch whatever you can online. Netflix, HBO, they've all been super accommodating, trying to, help us, be entertained and safe at home and whatever. Wash your hands, wear your mask, get your vaccination. There's 3 to choose from. I don't think you get to choose. I didn't get to choose. I gave what Publix was given, and I got what Publix was giving. But I was glad to get it. It was the Dolly one. I got the Dolly Parton vaccine. But get vaccinated, and let's just love each other through this. We've made it through, I think, 75% of it. So let's just hold on. We're going to keep loving each other through it. And I don't see the thread until after. So I don't know who said that, but the first Sunday we can touch. I want you to come up to me, tell me this was you, and give me a big hug. That's what I want. So,
and Darrell, just to wrap this one piece of it up, if you have not received your vaccination yet, if you're having any form of difficulty in the Florida area, Fort Lauderdale area, Broward County, Miami, West Palm Beach, Sunshine Cathedral is a pop-up site on the 17th of April for vaccinations. And all you have to do is visit sunshinecathedral.org to make a reservation to get your vaccination shot. We have they're providing us with hundreds of doses. And so as many people who can sign up, that'll be great. They're making them available to us. All the houses of faith, several houses of worship throughout the state are now becoming pop-up sites. Sunshine Cathedral is proud to be one of them. And so if you're having difficulty of any sort, just go to the Sunshine Cathedral website, sign up. And I think as of today for state of Florida, we're down to age 55, or probably by the time this rolls around, open to everyone. So just be mindful of all of that.
Yeah. Tito, you were saying?
I was just going to say real quick, it's funny that we're talking about this human connection that we're all missing, and especially at Sunshine Cathedral. And actually today, one of my coworkers who's only been to our church, I think once or twice, was telling me how much she loves that Sunshine Cathedral. Every time you come in, they don't even know you, and they will come up to you and talk to you, welcome you. You know, she said just this welcoming feeling that she gets there. And I kind of get that, even though we don't do the hugging anymore. When I do get up on the dais and I'm waving at people, just getting to wave at people and see the people gives me that warm feeling that I miss.
Yeah. Pre-pandemic, people who wanted prayer would come forward. We would hold each other, and then I would pray, and then we'd say affirmations together. During the exchange of peace, sign of peace, we'd all, walk around, hug each other. At communion, you would come forward if you wanted communion. The person who gave you communion would also touch you on the shoulder and give you your own personal blessing. I mean, during the Lord's Prayer, we would hold hands throughout the prayer. We were, so for the Love Church to have to give all that up for a year and a half now, it's been hard. And yet we've done what we can to express love anyway. But we're gonna get our touch back here pretty soon. So just gotta be faithful though. Gotta be careful so that we get to the end. We don't get tackled on the 1 yard line. How ridiculous would that be? Did I get that right? Did I even use that right? Okay. Anyway. All right. I think that's gonna have to be our last question, except for people's what they say here in the roundup. So Robert, lead us through that. You're not saying words.
Here I am. All right. Thanks everybody for being with us tonight. And thank you for the comments and questions, and just thank you for being with us. And if you enjoy what we do, we invite you to do a donation through the Sunshine Cathedral, sunshinecathedral.org, and go to the website also, and you can find all about the sign up for vaccinations, sign up for Easter Lily Donor, sign up to attend worship. The sign up sheet is up through the end of May, so just get it in there and get it done. And thank you for being patient with us through all of this, and let's be patient with ourselves too. I mean, it's I think I'm beginning my roundup here. It's depressing, it's lonely, but let's be easy on ourselves. Let's be careful with ourselves and just be mindful that we're all in this together, and we're going to get through it together. And one day we'll be back to that state where Sydney Lippert is in the pulpit of the Sunshine Cathedral, showing off her high heel shoes or something. So, all right, let's begin this roundup. Let's go for it. How about it, Sam? What you got?
Well, I've just been thinking about, there's treasure everywhere, right? And so, we just had the anniversary of the pandemic, and that also, that's kind of like around 1 year of Christians and cocktails, right? I mean, this is something that the pandemic has kind of forced us into, but also allowed us to expand in these types of things. So I'm just kind of looking for a little bit of silver linings while I'm waiting for it to all be over.
How about it, Cindy?
Well, I got a blessing today. I found out I get to have my Pfizer vaccine on Wednesday. I have no idea why it's taken so long for New Mexico to say that I was apparently, ready to. I guess I'm not decrepit enough. So, anyway, I get it Wednesday, and I'm so excited. So, and I just encourage everybody, if you can get one, get it.
Awesome. All right, Dennis.
So I want to kind of go back to our first topic and talk about feelings, whether it's grief or any feeling. And Darrell said this, but to suppress those feelings is unhealthy. And just plain and simple as that. Don't suppress them. It's not healthy. It won't do anything but bring your immune system down.
Mhm.
Oh, Tito.
So back to the God bless you. I know I've heard a story about it as to why we actually say it after someone sneezes, and I couldn't remember, but it turns out it actually has to do something with the pandemic. It says, why do people say God bless you? After someone sneezes, one of the symptoms of the plague was coughing and sneezing. And it is believed that Pope Gregory I, also known as Gregory the Great, suggested saying God bless you after a person sneezed in hopes that this prayer would protect them from an otherwise certain death.
Oh, there you go.
Alrighty then.
There you have it.
Well, God bless you.
Well, God bless you, Tito.
Pandemic.
All right, Linda, we're going to keep the landing of the plane in that household. So Landon's playing for us.
Okay, well, spring has sprung. Enjoy the flowers, enjoy the weather. And if where you are at right now, spring has not sprung, enjoy the anticipation of spring.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for being with us this evening. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday at Christians and Cocktail Hour. Have a great week and just keep moving forward. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Good night.
Bless you.
Oh, bless you. God bless you.
I didn't sneeze.
Are we still
I
on?
heard you.
Wait, are we still
Are we
here?
still on?
Oh, we're
We're still
on.
alive.
We're live. Get us out of here, Robert.
Bye, y'all.
Bloopers 101.